Right, after just about 7 hours of deliberating, they delivered that verdict of guilty on all counts. Now, some of the things they asked for to hear back was the 911 call that Michael Valva made, also audio that was captured from the home that morning. Now, that audio was very emotional for a lot of people in the courtroom. There were times where people were crying when listening to it, and what you can hear is a normal family morning happening, and then Michael discovering little Thomas, 8-year-old Thomas. He had gone to the bathroom after sleeping in the garage all night. It was 19 degrees out leading up to the day that child died of hypothermia. You hear Michael outside with the child, cleaning him off, screaming in an expletive-filled rant, also screaming things like, "Are you alive? Slap. Are you alive? Slap." The child was collapsing in the backyard. Also throughout this trial, we have seen video from the neighbor's house of that child collapsing more than once while he was naked in the backyard, and you can just hear, everything that happened that morning. We couldn't see what happened, even though there was Nest cameras throughout the entire home. The videos from in many of the rooms that morning were deleted. The only video that survived from that morning was in Bella's room, which was a dog's room, a pantry right off the kitchen, and that's how we were able to hear a lot of that emotional testimony.
Yeah, and Krista, throughout this trial, you've painted that picture for us. I don't think anyone's going to hear the words 19 degrees and not associate that with Thomas Valva for at least a while. Did you get the sense that we heard from the John Laturco, obviously after the verdict was read, that everyone played a fair game and respected each side of this trial? Was that the sense you got during being there, because you had a front row seat to all of this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Both sides were very respectful of the other side. Obviously, this is a very emotional case. I mean, we're talking about an 8-year-old boy that died of hypothermia. We heard from teachers. We heard from the principal. We heard from the detective. We saw autopsy photos while we were in that courtroom of a little 8-year-old boy. I can't even describe to you what that was like to look at firsthand. And not only did we see him after he had died, we saw a photo of Thomas the day before he died on January 16th, and he's standing there in his classroom smiling ear to ear, the little boy with so much hope in his eyes, giving a thumbs up. And in that thumbs up, you could see his hands are beet red. I cannot even describe how red they were. His little cheeks are red, and you see his smiling face in his classroom. This was the day before that boy died of hypothermia from sleeping in a garage that he had slept in for months leading up to the day he died.
Yeah, that was definitely some that testimony that hit home. Hearing his teachers describe his hands and how he was a broken boy, that perhaps makes it no shock to you that the jury was able to come to this verdict so quickly.
A shock and no shock. I mean, you never know what type of jury you're going to get. I mean, the defense, did give a good argument, really, you can say, for did he know for sure that that child was going to die from hypothermia. So that was sort of like what they raised the question about. So like I said, you can never really tell with a jury how quickly you're going to get a verdict. It really depends who's sitting on that jury. But I think in this case, you could say the evidence was overwhelming as to what exactly happened on January 17th in 2020.